Welcome back to the WL Costa Properties YouTube channel, and welcome to the Map Your Move to the Costa del Sol, a three-part series where we walk you through the exact steps that we use with our serious Costa del Sol buyers. Today we're answering, how do you go from sitting at home in the cold, dreaming, to actually building a real life on the Costa del Sol? Right, Warner?
Absolutely.
In part one, we're starting with mindset and location clarity. We're going to get really honest about the life that you want here and which part of the coast is right for you. So Warner, we are both very excited to bring this one to our community of listeners and to our YouTube subscribers. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do us a favor and make sure that you like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you content just like this. So first up, let's walk our listeners through mindset and location clarity. So the big questions that you must ask yourself: are you really ready to relocate? Are you really ready to relocate? This is such an important question, and it's the first piece of the puzzle, Warner. Let's go.
Time and time again, the number one reason relocation doesn't work for our clients is they're not prepared.
Okay. They're not truly ready.
They're not truly ready to relocate. They have a dream, but that dream has to have a process.
Yeah.
And the process, it can be a really time-consuming process, but it will be worth it, because if they go and they make sure they follow the process, then the dream will become a reality.
And I think by process, what you mean is actually putting the right pieces in order and doing things when they need to be done. So for example, making sure that you're really, really clear on your reasons that you're moving to Spain. That's the first part, which we're covering today. And then getting crystal clear on the location that's actually right for you in the Costa del Sol, because the Costa del Sol is 160 kilometers of coastline. There's lots of different towns and locations offering different things depending on the type of lifestyle that you want.
Yeah, it is. And it's a great place to come and live, good social, but you have to understand what position, what part in the Costa del Sol is right for you.
Yeah, like when it comes to locations, some of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they choose a location on a 1 week holiday, right? So if you're thinking about choosing your location, it's very important that you ask yourself these questions. Who do you want around you? Do you want young families? Do you want people that are retired? Do you want to be in a more Spanish location? Do you need access to the airport? What type of transport do you need to be close to? Would you like to be in a small town or a larger town or even in a city? Access, if you've got a younger family, you need to make sure that you've got access to schools. Also for you, do you want to be close to the airport? So, being on the main train line may also be really important for you. So if you're unsure of your location, it's very, very important that you start to ask yourself those key questions first so that you can then get really, really crystal clear on what you want to be, where you want to be on the coast. But when it comes to mindset, Warner, and really thinking about, asking yourself the why behind your move, there is some questions that we use with our clients all of the time on discovery calls when we first meet them, to really ensure that the why behind why they're moving is fully trashed out and clarified before they even jump on an airplane and come over and meet us, right? So things like, if you're single, have you started making a plan to understand why you want to move to the Costa del Sol? One of our clients recently made the decision to move because she couldn't get on the housing ladder in her home country because it was too expensive. So the Costa del Sol offered lifestyle, but also affordability that just wasn't possible for her from her home location, right?
Yeah, no, and look, moving to a different country is scary, especially if you're coming with family, or you're well settled in your own country, but you just have that, like what we just had that feeling we want more, leaving your house and your jobs and taking your children to a different country is very scary.
Yeah.
If you're yourself, then happy days, the world is your oyster. So it's really important that when they do make that decision, that they're comfortable. And everybody in their family comfortable with it. And I think because, you know, if they were taking that and moving to Australia, there's a massive travel issue,
Yeah.
homesick. But Spain's only 3 hours away, you know, and the Costa del Sol around Europe, it's only 3 hours away. So it doesn't seem that much of a drop or a challenge than
Yeah.
going further afield. So, like, the people that we're seeing that want to come to the Costa del Sol to relocate, they have had family here or they have been to holiday here for a certain number of years. You know, they know a certain area. When they come on holiday, they feel relaxed. They feel like we could live here. Why not? Because we have 325 sunshine days a year. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. But if you were moving as a couple, you know, you need to ask yourself different questions than if you're actually moving alone. You need to have a conversation as a couple, a real conversation as a couple about why you both want to move. Now, for us, it was very much around family life and the type of lifestyle that we wanted for our family. We wanted to be more outdoors. I think for me, if I speak for myself, I really started to question the life that I had back home. I started to feel like there was more to the life that I was told I should have. So those were kind of burning questions going on in my mind at that time. And when we came over on my 30th birthday and I saw that what was possible for us, that really helped me understand the why behind why we wanted to move as a family. And it was very much first initiated from the type of lifestyle that we saw that we could have here and the type of environment that our kids could grow up in. So that was really important.
It was.
I think as well, something that I've learned as we support more and more couples, families, retirees, buy a holiday home on the Costa del Sol or relocate over is that they need to have a very, very clear decision date. So not necessarily a move date, but a decision date. And what I mean by that is a date where you've decided, right, we're either going to do this or we're not. Because let's be frank, you know, lots of people have a dream of moving to a sunny climate, but that dream might sit on their wish list forever. If you're really serious about this and you're really like an action taker who wants to expedite this and make this happen for you, then you really need to have a very, very clear decision date, which is almost the first step of your journey, where you start to put in all of those practical steps around understanding if this dream could potentially be a reality for you. I also think as well that, you know, if we talk more honestly and from a human point of view, you're making a massive life-changing decision. You're throwing all of your life up in the air and changing it around. There are a lot of fears with that. And I think if we're talking about mindset and the questions that you need to ask yourself connected to why you're moving, you need to be very honest with your fears. Like, what are you afraid of? For me, so many people wanted, well, I wouldn't say they wanted us to fail, but culturally where we come from, people are naturally very skeptic. I think people don't always like to see people breaking away from the norm and trying things different. And I think so many people expected us to fail. I think so many people were waiting for us to fail. They wanted us to return back with our tail between our legs. So us, Warner and I, having a conversation about that, kind of naming that up front to say, we don't have a plan B here, okay? It's both feet in. Okay, not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because if you're approaching your move from that perspective, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, in my opinion, you're setting yourself up to fail. You go all in, you name the fears, and you talk about very transparently what could possibly go wrong. And if something goes wrong, that's absolutely fine. But I know from speaking with a lot of our clients that we work in, a lot of people come with a fear of maybe potentially losing friendships and relationships or not seeing their family as frequently as they would like, and that's okay. Name it up front, talk about some of the things that you could potentially do to stop those fears becoming a reality. But I think the very, very important thing here is just really being in a position to be honest, identifying that you're a human. Change is scary, it's your mind's way of keeping you safe, and you will naturally approach your new journey with fears because it's completely new.
Yeah, like when we made the decision to come to the Costa del Sol, we relied on family that was here for information, etc. You know, that was in 2016. Now there's so much resources now for people that actually put the plan in place for people that's looking to relocate to the Costa del Sol. Like, we didn't have any of that, so
No.
we were even to the point where we were trying to rent a property while living in Ireland, which was, we got burnt by it because somebody's idea of where we would like to live is not our ideas
Exactly.
where we want to live. So you are going to have challenges moving to a different country, whether you like it or not. It's how you prepare yourself for those challenges is most important,
Yeah.
and how you deal with them.
That's very rooted, though, to how we work and what we do in terms of, the values of the service that we offer is very much around, let's be frank, making sure that people don't get burnt,
Yeah.
making sure that they're making the right decisions for them at the right time, and really, going above and beyond to make sure that if they're all in, that we are there in their corner as a support mechanism for them to ensure that they start their new life or their investment in Spain on the best possible footing, right?
Yeah, and don't forget, you're not alone. A lot of people have relocated to Spain. There is brilliant communities here that have been there, done there, got the t-shirt, that want to help more expats come to live in Spain. So, whatever comes when you decide to make that decision, don't worry. Just make sure that it's 100% right for you and your family.
Okay, so I know we've kind of moved from location into mindset. Now we're going back to location. And earlier we talked about, some of the things that you need to think about when you're choosing your location on the Costa del Sol. It's also very important that you check out our website, go to the resources section, download our free checklist, which actually puts all of these questions into a proper sequence and order for you so that you're asking yourself the right questions in the right order for the right time. But Werner, you've got a lot of experience when it comes to supporting clients to really put a pin on choosing the right location for them. And I guess I'd like to pick your brain a little bit more on this in terms of what's your biggest practical step or steps? What are the biggest practical steps that you would advise somebody if they're unsure of the right location for them? What do they need to do?
Okay, the first they need to do, obviously, the Costa del Sol is a vast area, so they might know one area that they've holidayed before. So I would recommend that they choose 3 areas that they think that they would be happy to explore. So what that means is having a 1 week or a 2 week holiday, booking different hotels or perfectly Airbnb because they're in like complexes and everything, and deciding, I'm going to go to Estepona for 3 days. I'm going to try the food. I'm going to look at the schools. I'm going to look at the transport, where I want to live. And then after that, then move to go to Marbella, try the same thing. And then go to, say, Benalmádena, come there. Make sure that in those 1 or 2 weeks that you're fitting everything in so that you can make a decision. And I'm guarantee probably, because we are having a lot of people coming over from America just now that have never been in the Costa del Sol, and I guarantee when you do that, you get to get a better idea of what it's like to live here and what area that you would like to live. If you want to live next to the coast, or you want to be further away.
Yeah.
So it's really important that they really narrow that down to just one area.
Yeah, before they even start to think about properties, right?
Yeah.
We had a conversation on Monday with some clients that are working with us that are relocating to Spain from Australia. And we had exactly that conversation. So you need to hire your car, you need to come and spend some time in these different locations, and you really need to ask yourself what's important for you when you're in those locations. So is this too quiet or busy for me? Are the location links in terms of, transport, are they okay for us? Particularly if you don't want to drive in Spain or hire a car. Is this very traditional area or is it a little bit more cosmopolitan? Am I going to have the ability to socialize here? Then we start to look at things like, am I close to medical centres? How far am I from the airports? These are all of the type of questions that you need to keep front of mind as you drive around to these locations and spend a little time there. I also think that, and this is just my personal opinion, I think that sometimes you need to visit those locations at different times of the day. So if you're going to Estepona, for example, and you're going to spend some time in the old town, go at various different times of the day. See, is this lively enough for you if you're after a little bit of social life? That's quite important as well. And also, if you have the opportunity to come back at another time, try different seasons in the area, because winter and summer look completely different. And if you can, I always say with Benalmádena, for example, for our clients who choose Benalmádena, if you love Benalmádena in the winter time when things are a little bit quieter, sometimes it gets a little bit cold, well, you're going to absolutely love it in spring and summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that spring and summer is the winter time is your favourite time in Benalmádena because all the tourists go home and, we can get to our favourite restaurants again, we can park the car again. So I know that that's important to you, but it is important that you do visit these places if you can in winter and summer to get an idea of how busy the place can get.
I guess the key point here is don't make a decision about your location based on a 1 week holiday, because the reality is going to look very, very different. I know that if people are traveling from a different continent, it's not always feasible to come back in different seasons. But then for your primary visit, give yourself enough time to really feel like, could this location feel like normal, real life for me? Because normal life and holiday life are two completely different things. And it's also very important that when you're choosing your location, you're choosing it for you, not all your family that are going to be visiting you, because this is your life. This is the next stage of your life. A lot of people fall into the trap and go, oh, my daughter would like this. I need an extra bedroom for my son. It's important that we're based here because Johnny comes over twice a year on holidays.
Yeah.
Johnny mightn't come. So it's important that you choose the location for you. It's your next chapter. You're making the investment, you're making the commitment. It's one of the only times in your life where you get to be completely selfish. So be selfish.
Yeah, absolutely. Be selfish. And everybody falls into that plan. They get their place in Spain, and before you know it, all the friends and family are coming over, and that kind of, after the first year, that kind of gradually wanes out. You start to, this is my life. I live here. I work here. I'm not on holiday. Like when you're in your own country, you're working, but you don't have time when I come on holiday. So
the same thing.
It's vice versa.
Yeah. Brilliant. So we've talked about mindset and the questions that you need to ask yourself even before you even think about trolling Idealista for a property. We've talked about the importance of defining your decision date long before your move date. And then we've also talked about location and those key questions that you need to ask yourself, those key questions that need to be front of mind when it comes to choosing location. We've shared with you the practical advice that we give our clients when they are concerned or confused about location, even before we start to talk about all of the nice things like budget and what comes next. So mindset first, then we look at location.
Absolutely.
Anything else that you'd like to share with people watching at home or listening before we move on?
Look, obviously having a good mindset and having a positive, aspect of moving to a different country is going to help you. You are going to face challenges, that's understandable, but once you get over those challenges, this is a beautiful place to live for you and if your kids are growing up and your family.
Amazing, thanks Werner. So if you want to see how this actually plays out in real life, in a real area, we've created an amazing Benalmádena area guide for you. It's actually linked in the description below. Watch that next to get a really good feel for day-to-day life in Benalmádena and what life is actually like living here. Now, you don't want to miss part 2 of this mini-series, so make sure that you like and subscribe so you get informed when the next set of this series goes live. We hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for stopping by and see you on the next episode.
See you on the next one.